Did you ever notice that the exact people who talk about let's create utopia are the same people who support abortion, divorce, free childcare, meaning women work, and basically all the other evils that destroy a healthy nuclear family, which scientifically has been proven to be the bedrock of a stable society, meaning utopia? So, why are they looking outside of themselves and not finding utopia? Well, Dr. Andrew Huberman is going to answer that question today, and he's going to address it with cancel culture, which people who want utopia, democratic socialists, communists, often speak of cancel culture as a way to rid of us of the ills of society. Well, that's just not how it works based on the laws of physics. So today we're going to dive into Dr. Andrew Huberman, Dr. Joe Dispenza, and Dr. Bruce Lipton, who does epigenetics. And I am Kerry Blaser, the reincarnation of Mary Magdalene, the divine feminine. Please check out my free ebook below that teach you how to transform your emotional wounds into personal wisdom, leading you towards enlightenment. But let's get back to today's topic. We're going to start with Dr. Andrew Huberman, who just lays it out so clearly why cancel culture will never heal us. So let's start there. Let me pull it up for us here. Here he is.
What we need to do is start to figure out how we can, I think, especially for the next generation of kids, how to teach them to regulate their nervous system so that they recognize that pulse of adrenaline as placing them in a compromised position. Like, we have to leverage the idea that being able to hear and listen hinges on the ability to be calm. So therefore, the ability to be calm is crucial to hearing and hearing and listening is crucial to our advancement as individuals and as groups. The problem is everyone's been trying to do this backwards. They've said we all have to get along. We have to cancel culture. We all have to, listen to one another. And I think, again, we have to start from the inside.
He is 100% right. Because how many videos have you seen of leftists screaming in the streets and their inability to listen and stay calm? I mean, it's freaking everywhere. So what the problem is, it's an internal issue. So let me get into what the issue is. And I'll link this below. So, you hear about reparenting. When you have a traumatic childhood, you have to reparent yourself. Well, what does that mean? That means recalibrate your nervous system. It doesn't mean stop all the challenging stuff outside of us. It means change your internal reality because our external reality is a projection of our internal reality. The next clip we're going to get into, Dr. Joe Dispenza explains how we live in a holographic universe, meaning our internal world is projected externally so that we can see ourselves for self-improvement opportunities. So changing out here without changing in here doesn't solve the problem because the problem is in here. And I lived with a nervous system calibrated for fear, guilt, and shame for 45 years. I'm 55 now. I spent the last 10 years recalibrating my nervous system to resonate with love, compassion, and enlightenment instead of fear, guilt, and shame. Because when I get triggered, that's the adrenaline boost that Dr. Huberman was talking about. And so because in my childhood, I was, kind of subconsciously trained that when I have that little bird, like that's an attraction signal. No, that's a fear signal. And I misread it as an attraction signal for men because that's all I knew. So anytime a man would trigger me, he might be for me. He's a player. Oh, I'll fix him. I know. I can just do it, right? All the crazy. No. And that's why women say, well, why are all men narcissists? Okay, girlfriend, all the men you attract into your life specifically, are narcissists. Why is that? Because there's a lot of happily married women who aren't married to narcissists. But why are all the men you date narcissists? And that's the same thing that Dr. Huberman's talking about. Each individual has to learn to calibrate their own nervous system for love, compassion, and enlightenment to resonate with love, compassion, and enlightenment, meaning calm, so that when someone says a different worldview, Outside, you can remain calm, listen to it, and decide how to respond calmly. You don't need to scream and cancel, I'm not safe, trigger warning, trigger warning. I mean, are we children? These are just immature people trying to control everybody else because they don't know how to have internal control. That's what communism is, and it's an external solution for an internal problem. Our external reality is a reflection of our internal reality. So let's learn from Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he's going to quote Einstein. The field is the sole governing agency of the particle. The field meaning the energy field, the particle meaning the body. Epigenetics has proven that less than 1% of our diseases come from our genetics, meaning more than 99% of our diseases come from our fields, our energy bodies, which physicists have proven every being has. Every being. Okay? Interesting. I know, I love it. Okay, let's get to Dr. Joe Dispenza. Here we go.
Einstein said the field, the wave, the energy is the sole governing agency of the particle. Energy controls matter. He didn't say the particle controls the particle. He said the field controls the particle. If you change the information in the field, can you change the projection, the particle in three-dimensional reality? This is a holographic universe. So if the quantum field is an invisible field of energy that exists beyond our senses, beyond our body, our environment, and time.
So the quantum field is what things are projected onto. And I'm going to pull up a Carl Jung quote from my book because it's the same. He's saying the same thing, and he's a psychologist. So this is how it works. Wisdom says, universe is a mirror. Showing us is a mirror. Project onto the quantum field, and then it's a mirror showing us ourselves, right? The universe is a mirror showing us ourselves in every moment as a constant feedback loop for self-improvement. Knowledge says we attract what we are through energetic resonance. So when my nervous system is calibrated for fear, guilt, and shame, like the girl who attracts in all the narcissists, then I attract in fearful, guilt-ridden, and shameful experiences into my life. I mean, I haven't been on a date in 7 years, but all the men I attracted into my life were players because they included Andrew Tate. So let me bring up my book. My book is My Inner Heroine. Oh, lucky us, I have it right here ready to go. Someone's on my side. Okay, so my book is My Inner Heroine, Exploring Feminine Pain, and it shows how I healed from my traumatic childhood. And I have 6 heroes in the book. Heroes 2 and 3 are Justin Waller and his best friend, Andrew Tate. And so here is a quote from Carl Jung getting at this holographic universe, that the universe is a projection. And when we understand that, when we become conscious of that, then we interact with the world differently, and we see that our external reality is a reflection of our internal reality. So let me share this. And, the projection on Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate triggers a lot of people, but if he triggers you, I recommend you look in, do you have a sex addiction? Have you been raped? Are you a rapist? Like, how do you need to heal? Okay. So, I was raped. If you imagine someone who is brave enough to withdraw all of his projections, brave enough to admit that we live in a holographic universe, like Dr. Joe Dispenza said, then you might get an individual who is conscious of a pretty thick shadow, a pretty thick subconscious with lots of lies in it. Like I used to have a lie in my subconscious that if I apologize, my loved ones will leave me, which is a lie. If I apologize, my loved ones will want to stay. Okay. That lie really hurt a lot of my relationships. Such a man has saddled himself with new problems and conflicts. He has become a serious problem to himself, as he is now unable to say that they do this or that, they are wrong and they must be fought against. Such a man knows that whatever is wrong with the world is in himself. Hence all the Utopia, communist, social democrat people. Okay. As he is now unable to say that, He has become a serious problem to himself, as he is now unable to say they do this or that, they are wrong and they must be fought against. Such a man knows that whatever is wrong with the world is in himself, and if he only learns to deal with his own shadow, his own subconscious, those wounds, those lies, he has done something real for the world, especially himself. He has succeeded in shouldering at least an infinitesimal part of the gigantic, unsolved social problems of our day. Thank you, Carl Jung. I gotta love me some Carl Jung. So, Carl Jung was very much this kind of inner authority, source of authority, not external source of authority, which is almost a Christian worldview that God tells us what to do and provides everything, just like thank you, thank you, thank you, but my soul's not in charge. But when I acknowledge that my soul is in charge, that I'm the only one that has sovereignty over my own soul, then I can start making some changes. But let's do one more video from Dr. Bruce Lipton, who does epigenetics, showing what happens with adopted kids and how they get sick because of the field that they're in. You say you're the summary of the 5 people you hang around most. Who are the democratic socialists and communists hanging out with? I would say it's pretty unhealthy. But let's get back to this video and see a little bit more about how this works. The power of epigenetics.
Whatever picture you hold in your mind, the brain releases complementary chemistry that matches that picture, and it releases it into the body. And the chemistry of the blood is what controls the genes and the behavior. Children, when adopted into a family where there's cancer running in that family, the adopted child will get the same family cancer.
Right? The adopted child gets the same family cancer, hence the field is the sole governing agency of the particle. The energy field is the sole governing agency of the body. And he said that the mind, the consciousness, the field is what controls the body, and the body is a mirror of the soul. So when we get sick in the body, it means we're sick in our soul. And our nervous system, because our soul communicates through emotions, through our heart, through emotions, our nervous system is calibrated based on the energy in our soul. So if your soul has a lot of fear, guilt, and shame from unresolved childhood trauma, then you're going to attract those kind of people and events into your life. But once you heal, then you're like, I don't attract those events into my life. I haven't gotten sick in almost 7 years because my nervous system is calibrated for love, compassion, and enlightenment, for calm. And my body mirrors my soul.
Point. The adopted child has totally different genetics. What was the point? It was being adopted into a family where the programming of that child is what caused the cancer. It's consciousness who releases the chemistry to the environment that controls the genes. And you can change your consciousness, and you can change your environment. And all of a sudden I say, oh my God, we were programmed to be victims.
We were programmed to be victims. We live in a Christian worldview. God is an external source of power. Anytime you have an external source of power, that sets up a codependent relationship, lack of accountability, lack of internal authority. Now we know through psychology, through laws of physics, through epigenetics, that it's the internal authority over our energy field, over our souls, that early Christians were trying to teach us, that got stomped out by the Christian church. Because if I have internal authority, what do I need the church for? If I have internal authority, you can't teach me that the cross is the only ladder to heaven. If I have internal authority, I know I can speak directly to God. I don't need the church for that. Oh, wait, they killed all the heretics, millions and millions of them in Europe for saying that. Oh, whoops, that was dangerous. Yeah, control. So let's watch the rest of this.
It turns out we are masters of our genetic activity. And this is the new science called epigenetics. Whatever picture you...
Yeah, so epigenetics. Fascinating, fascinating, fascinating. Okay, so now we're going to get into the really good stuff. We have Victor Hansen, who's going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the European Union, this whole globalization, creating utopia, no borders, no boundaries, no masculinity. Oh, does someone have a problem with what they call the patriarchy? Because maybe they do. But these are the exact people that I'm talking about. The people that want to create a utopia. They have these ideas, and that they come, they come down from above, But Carl Jung, he saw them coming, because he said, one does not become enlightened by imagining beings of light, but by making their darkness conscious. And the EU in the past 25 years has lost about half of its GDP. So I think it's not making any of its darkness conscious, and just imagining beings of light, of globalization, and oh my gosh, we're just morally superior. Because we're liberal. We let everybody in. We make decisions based upon our colonization guilt, so we have no boundaries now. But that's healthy. Psycho. Okay, so let me bring up Victor. Gotta love him.
Victor Davis Hanson for the Daily Signal. This is the week of the inauguration of Donald Trump, but it also coincides not just with Martin Luther King's birthday on the same day as the inauguration, but also the meeting of the world's elite at Davos, Switzerland, lorded over by 86-year-old Klaus Schwab, who created this organization. If you don't know what Davos is, don't worry about it. It's not that important in some ways. I mean, it's not doing a lot of good for the rest of us, but it is important because it has aspirations that are quite dangerous. Basically, its premise is that if we got together all of the quote unquote smart people, those are people who have letters after their name, or they live in the right zip codes, or they're wealthy, or they're professors, or they're key government officials, and we put them all in this beautiful, idyllic place, they can think up utopian dreams that then can be.
See, thinking is not how reality is created. Okay? The universe is a mirror, and we communicate through our hearts. The electromagnetic field around your heart is 5,000 times stronger, than your brain. So we project out through our hearts, and then the quantum field mirrors that back to us. An energy that resonates the same frequency as us. Like if we have selfishness at 40 hertz, other people that have selfishness at 40 hertz will pull our attention, because when my 40 hertz starts to move, their 40 hertz starts to move, and that's what perceives my attention. Rumi, who they've proven just from a mystic from the 13th century, was speaking quantum physics and didn't know it. He says, what you seek is seeking you. That's the 40 hertz selfishness and the 40 hertz selfishness. I can show a two-prong experiment in a second. But when you perceive selfishness outside of yourself, that is your soul showing you the selfishness inside of yourself. So a lot of these people, the EU, they see a lot of selfishness, right? Well, let's fix that with globalization, and we're going to trade with this person, and then we're going to tax you to make sure that you're not hurting the environment. And, we're a bunch of women, so we really care about relationships and philanthropy. So we're really going to make capitalism, stakeholder capitalism, which is like communism, which is, basically saying we're responsible for everyone we do business with morally. Like, whoa, huge projection externally, and not acknowledging their own fear, guilt, and shame from their own personal problems. So definitely having ideas like Carl Jung said, one does not become enlightened by imagining beings of light. Putting people in Switzerland and then saying, well, they're like beings of light and their ideas are superior, so they're going to figure it out. That's not how it works. Our souls create our reality, not our brains. The field is the sole governing agency of the particle. Einstein. Thank you, Einstein.
From the top down, implemented by hoi polloi, the many. And they have actual disgust for elected governments, because you see, elected governments make mistakes in their view. They elect people and then they do the wrong thing. They have these 19th century borders. They believe in legal only immigration. They don't believe in redistribution of money. They believe in free market capitalism. They are opposed to diversity, equity, and inclusion. And they don't want to put mandates on corporations, ESG, about the environment and social questions and governance questions.
I mean, they are a tax and spend. They've lost half of their GDP in the EU in 25 years, and they want to tell us what's up with business? Yeah, I don't think so. They have their priorities wrong, because women biologically are made to focus on the internal, on the relationship. Men biologically are designed to focus on the external, society and culture and governance. Just like they did a study showing that when there's a noise inside the house, the woman hears it, and then the man doesn't. And when there's a noise of like rustling leaves outside the house, potential danger, the man hears it and the woman doesn't. So women want to say, oh, I'm going traveling in Europe alone. I'll know if I'm safe. No, girlfriend, your body doesn't pick up external scare triggers. You're designed for the inside, not the outside.
They let the market adjudicate, which you can't do. Now, the reason that they're really angry this week is Donald Trump was elected in the United States. Donald Trump was elected, and he is a Jacksonian populist nationalist who believes that the U.S. Constitution, who believes in the Constitution, and the creation of this last great hope for Earth is unique and singular.
And I'll stop it here and I'll link it below.
And he trusts it and its
I
constitution
mean, Davos
more
was
than
trying
he
to be like a
does these
kingdom. Like we just rule
Davos
above
international
you. Like
organizations
we're not,
who,
we're not elected.
remember, are not elected
We're
by
just
anybody.
like,
They're
the
appointed.
PhD. We're just above.
So Donald Trump
and we just have
immediately
these
got
ideas.
out of the
So we're just going to
International
implement them.
Criminal
We're just
Court.
going to make it great.
This was an international body that,
I mean, we've had kingdoms and we know what happened in Europe. Like, I don't need to review that history. So just as a reminder, our internal reality is projected externally for us to see ourselves. So we have opportunities to say, hey, I'm great. And hey, I need to improve. So then you can go, oh, that's where I need to improve. Has nothing to do with anybody else. We're all souls having a human experience. And early Christianity, like the Gospel of Mary, the Gospel of Thomas, these texts all taught inner authority. That you don't need, that the cross is not the only ladder to heaven, which Christianity teaches. That if you look inside yourself, that's how you change your external reality. I became calm after I figured out that I had a fear of all men, and my daughter noticed immediately the next day when I went in public. That's changing my external reality. But if communism shows up and, there's food outside, that doesn't help me heal my trauma of being raped. Just one has nothing to do with the other. It doesn't help me recalibrate my nervous system for love, compassion, and enlightenment. I have to dig into those wounds and come out with the wisdom. I had to learn that if I wanted Mount Everest-sized wisdom, like enlightenment, I had to take on Mount Everest-sized wounds. And I've been to the Mount Everest base camp. Mountain's tall. I could barely walk at 18,000 feet, let alone 29. Okay, that's not for me. Anyway, I hope that was useful for you, and I'll be doing more of these videos kind of showing the challenges that we're all experiencing in society when we don't acknowledge that we're souls having a human experience. Please check out my free ebook below. It will teach you how to self-reflect, how to turn your wounds into wisdom, how to calibrate your nervous system for love, compassion, and enlightenment, which is an emotion. And then you'll also have access to my free meditation and shamanic drumming video. I'll pop up here in a second. And with that, you don't need a therapist. You're the summary of the 5 people you hang around most. Make me one of those people for free. All right, please like and subscribe. Take care. Bye.